Oh, wow. Whatnot came straight up. Let me check the audio.
Excellent.
How's the audio, guys? I just realized I don't actually have my stuff to check. I'm going to walk to my office and get it.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to day 3 of Rejectocon. We're learning as we go. We think we figured out some things.
I'm a moderator.
Kat's a moderator.
All powerful.
And she can put stuff up on the fly now. I mean, we figured that out yesterday.
Yeah, I have Steve's phone too, which has his account.
We figured we'd do more. What seemed to be working well was.
Well, we're listening to you guys.
Yeah. You guys seem to like the sketches live that we would auction during. So for the 2 streams today, we'll do like a half-hour sketch. And you guys can start suggesting what you want to see.
Half hour. Oh, cute.
Right now. Well,
You overriding me?
half hour-ish? 45 minutes? Hour? 2 hours?
No, stop.
We'll start at 30 minutes.
And then we'll move on to one of the paintings.
15 to 20 minute is how we're going to put that.
And if anybody's on the stream who has a painting.
They said the top video is laggy.
Laggy.
I don't know.
That's going to be in internet's software.
That's probably an internet thing. If we do stuff like this in the future, we're probably going to pick one place to stream because we're just choking this laptop to death, and we're probably
And it's a beefy laptop.
yeah. And we're also doing it over our Wi-Fi, which is not the greatest.
Yeah.
So we're taxing a lot of systems at once. We'll probably just do like Whatnot next time because Whatnot seems to be the thing with the least issues.
Maybe just another thought too is you could do Whatnot and one other stream instead of 3 other streams. Because one thing that I know, my mom, I'm just speaking up, people don't want to have to download software to watch
That's
something.
fair.
And YouTube is something that everyone has. They don't have Facebook and Instagram, they have to have a login. But YouTube, they don't have to have a login. They can just watch it from anywhere. So my recommendation would be YouTube and Whatnot, personally.
Yeah, YouTube's pretty easy. You don't have to have anything for YouTube.
Yeah, and my mom spoke up and said, I don't want to download crap. I don't like it.
So we did a couple sketches yesterday, or between today and yesterday, so we will have some for auction. There we go, that's a little less blown out. Plus this will give me an opportunity to focus this thing.
Someone also said YouTube also keeps it archived for history, which is nice too.
Yes. So we did that one. And we talked a lot about Kamigawa and stuff like that. So I did a little Liliana Kamigawa. Is that totally blown out? Sorry.
Yep, it's very blown out. There, that's better. So,
It's not supposed
just a
to be
reminder
auto-
and an introduction for the morning before you get started, Steve. This is the 3rd day of Rejectocon. Rejectocon came about because we kept trying to plan for Magic conventions and putting aside time for fan service at Magic conventions, and then we got turned down for we submitted a request to go to Magic conventions, and we've been turned down for 3 out of the 4 that we've submitted to. So we're not doing the Magic conventions, but we decided we still wanted to get that fan service in there, get that interaction with you guys. So we're doing Rejectocon from the comfort of your couch. On our couch, it's much more comfy for everybody, where Steve, we've done this is our 3rd day now. Just a reminder for people, if you want to go to steveargyle.com and buy anything there, if you use the code Rejectocon, no dashes and no caps, you get 20% off your order. If you also want to, you can write in the notes of the order for a playmat that you want the Rejectocon 2024 mythic stamp and we can put that on your playmat for free. So let's do that and put that forward for everybody. So this first thing, Steve, why are you sketching? Didn't you want to get people's feedback?
I do want to give people's feedback.
All right, so
But there
Steve,
was a
what are
blank
you?
thing in
What is
front
the
of me.
artist proof that's right there?
This is an ever-flowing chalice.
Okay, so we have an ever-flowing chalice up. You guys, your reward for being here right at the beginning of the session. Put forward ideas on what you would like Steve to sketch for the next 15 to 20 minutes. Yeah, me and Steve have been going back and forth. And then we'll put it up at the end of that time. We'll put a 5-minute timer on and he'll finish up the sketch. And you guys will bid on it. I assume when someone says, what does it look like, the Mythic signature, it's foil. It'll either be a gold or silver foil. Someone's saying Liliana on various planes would be nice. Simon Belmont is another one. A clock with ever-flowing hours. And part of the fun here is we put it out, I say it at Steve, and he then decides from your guys' comments. Planeswalker holding an ever-flowing chalice is another recommendation on there. So this will be our warm-up sketch for this session. We'll get to, we have some auctions. Another reminder that we haven't been really focusing on, but I added to this, is that we have the buy it now. Sorry, I've been talking a lot and Steve hasn't, but we have the buy it now under Steve's profile. And these are things, well, we always joke we have the con exclusives. Metal prints are our con exclusives. So if you guys go and look in our buy it now, we have some metal prints that are being discontinued that you can go and buy immediately. They are as is. Some of them might have a little love. Most of them don't. But this shows you how beautiful these metal prints are. This is one of my favorite images of Steve's, especially in the metal.
The metal looks so good, yeah.
But the stained glass and her face, I love this picture so much. And so we have 2, I believe, framed metal prints of this in the buy it now. They are reduced price. These are our con exclusives for Rejectocon. There's other ones in there, and we'll kind of keep showing those throughout the show, but I want to bring that to people's attention so they can check those out.
All right, I'm trying to fix the exposure because,
Yeah, you changed it for the one direction, and now you're changing it back.
well, it's supposed to be manually set and it keeps adjusting, which is not what it's supposed to be doing.
You haven't it won't lock.
Yeah.
Another idea
So.
for your sketch is a upset wet Chandra stuck under a waterfall of ever-flowing chalice. You could do that interplay between Liliana and Chandra that people keep playing up, where where Liliana is dumping an ever-flowing chalice onto Chandra. So, welcome to the last day again of Rejectocon. I hope you guys you guys have enjoyed this. It's been good enough for us that we're totally talking about doing this again. We want to not wait a year and do some more whatnots, maybe not a full con style like this, but we do want to do more whatnot. But in a year, I want to do another Rejectocon, although we need to also start talking over ideas for the name. I don't know if I want to keep calling it Rejectocon. I like PajamaCon or CouchCon. We'll have to see. And it went well enough. We'll definitely try to get our friends in on it with Jason Engel, Howard Lyon, Drew Baker. We have so many Magic friends that would probably be so happy to come and do a little spot on it too. I like PajamaCon too. CouchCon has the alliteration, but I think PajamaCon sounds more fun. People are loving the Douse Chandra, but I think Steve is already too far. Oh, are you changing? Did
that
you
was
just
a goblin,
switch out?
and nobody asked for a goblin.
Nobody asked for a goblin, so
So-
you switched out your goblin. Maybe we can bring the goblin back up next time. Someone said they'd be very down for this to be a larger magic art event, completely online. We told you before, when we actually floated this to our idea to our friends, especially all the ones who were rejected for Amsterdam, all of them were in, 100%. I think we even floated to RK for a second. He was like, oh, yeah. So people were all in. This year we were kind of under a lot of stress and just wanted to see if it was going to work. And the support is overwhelming. I'd love to build the Whatnot base for Steve a bit more too, but bring in everything else. Pay Scott even more money to keep doing this for us.
More tacos.
More tacos. Please feel free to ask any questions, though. Are you in the artist proof group on Facebook, Kat and Steve? I'm not in the artist proof group. I'm on the I don't think that's the right name. I'm on the one that buys and sells originals for Magic.
I think I might be on the group.
Steve might be on there.
So
Here's the thing I'm going to put forward. Steve is not active on social media unless he's trying to get posts out for you guys. It's just not his personality. Steve would rather just be arting all day than cruising social media. He does social media for you guys. Like, he wants to keep minions engaged and communicate with the community, and that's the way he can do it. But it's not his natural state of being. Yeah, people are it's a huge time suck, and that's the thing with Steve, is those sort of things are it's just not his personality. Surya, if you want to invite me to that MTG group, feel free. I think I'm just Katsurin on Facebook too, or Kat Ortley on Facebook. Sorry, I've been neglecting the other chats. That is the other reminder. We are live on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. I am not watching the chat in Instagram, so I'm sorry I won't be responding there. But I will be flipping through YouTube and Facebook. We will be having auctions, and if you want to be part of those auctions, you need to come to Whatnot and create an account there, and we have the stream there and a chat going on there too. Steve, this is something people are bringing up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to sing and sing poorly. Very merry birthday to you, to you. Very merry birthday to you. Tomorrow is Steve's birthday.
Yep, I'm older.
Well, I'm getting, not yet. Enjoy your last day
Last day of youth.
of youth. Tomorrow you're going to wake up and you're going to feel it. No, I'm just kidding. So, yes, tomorrow is Steve's
older than
birthday,
you've
so how he
ever
celebrates
been, and
his
now you're
birthday
getting
is here
older.
at Rejectocon with you guys, which I think is great. So that's how we're celebrating that. Someone asked if you ever done a Chandra Tini from scratch. I'm not sure
Many
what they mean from
times.
scratch, but there have been many Chandra Tinis.
Many times. One of the, so way back when, one of the first Chandratinis I did was one of the earliest altars I did. And it was, there's another card altarist who challenged me to a altar contest. And we did Chandratinis. And the next event I went to was, it was GP Salt Lake, which they've only done a couple of times, because Utah has stupid laws about a lot of things. There's a reason you don't see a lot of Magic tournaments in Utah.
The laws about gambling are strict but vague. And so if someone really was mad at Magic or a Magic event, they could probably bring the law down on people for Magic. And
Yeah.
yeah.
It would be very easy to make the argument that Magic is gambling in Utah because of the way we have
Written the laws.
phrased what gambling is, and everything else. Like, there are great things about Utah, and there are some really dumb things about Utah. I imagine that's how it is with every state, but but the Chandratini. So we did the Chandratini thing, and it got a fair bit of traction online. And the next event I went to was the Salt Lake thing, and it was also the judge conference. And the first thing they did was they're like, okay, so judges, how do you determine whether a altar is tournament legal? And they brought up my altar. And they didn't know I was, like, I don't think they really realized that I was sitting right there. And so I was like, that's awesome, you should always allow that. And it was Arthur Havelis who was running the show, and I didn't know him at the time. And he gave me a super grumpy look, like, you know, I was being snarky and I was interrupting. But they talked about all the rules for altars and all that sort of stuff, and that's pretty much where I learned all what I needed to know to do.
It was
altars and
very
keep them
informational,
tournament
though
legal.
they have updated the guidelines since then. They were very strict back then because altering wasn't that huge of a thing.
Well, the Chandratini was one of, they were like, this is one that would be harder to determine because it doesn't quite look enough like the original card, but also it's suggestive, right? So this would kind of be one of those head judge gets to decide. Because the other thing that was really popular at the time was the waifu altars, where you just had all kinds of.
It's still pretty popular.
It is still pretty popular.
I don't think waifu was actually even a thing back then, but it's a good description now.
Well, there was a lot of naked anime girls. Whatever you want to call it. And so they were kind of like discussing how they wanted to deal with that sort of thing and what they wanted in the environment, and yeah. So yes, I've done Chandratinis. Many
I loved the
Chandratinis.
Chandratini. It was great because it was that classic girl in a martini glass style.
Yeah.
It was a great looking altar.
It was fun.
So I really liked it. I know something to bring up that I know judges have talked about. At the time, most altarists were not the artist of the original card. So some things that they kind of clarified is judges were more lenient if it was actually the artist, the original artist doing the altar. There are different degrees of legality. The base one is you don't cover casting cost or
Or the card name.
Yeah, or the card name.
Or power toughness.
Or
Yeah.
in power and toughness. That's the base level of legality. The next step up from there is if it's deceitful, like it looks like another card. Like if you turned Liliana of the Veil into a Jace the Mind Sculptor, that one is a less legal one. They're less likely to do that because it's deceitful to someone looking at it across the table.
Yes. Confuses the play state.
Yep. The next one is just basic altars where you're changing it to look like some anime character. And then the most legal are the one where you leave the main part of the card. So like we call them the Liliana BFF cards, where it's the main character with left alone, but someone on the side, like being best friends with them or something like that. And those are the ones that they're the least grumpy about, I guess is the best way to put it. So, Russell Franz is dropping in for a second. It says, happy Rejectocon. We'll see him at Gen Con this year, I think.
Awesome. That's coming up fast, isn't it?
Oh, gosh, yeah.
This whole year has just seemed to blur by.
Yeah, it's gone quick. That's part of the reason we kind of made these plans for Rejectocon to like include friends and stuff, and then like last minute we're like, oh, we actually need to like figure out the technical logistics of this. We don't have time to figure out how to bring people in from the outside. So it's been fun. It's been interesting. But I think that's how it is with everything is you try to plan and then suddenly it's there. You blink and it's there.
Yeah, every year for convention season we have these plans. Like this year we're gonna have this and we're gonna do this and all grand plans, and then it's like, wait a minute, we're here. We never did all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Little by little. Someone's saying it'd be really nice if they made artist proofs tournament legal, at least for Commander. Can understand both ways on it.
I played my artist proofs in Commander at cons. They don't check.
Yeah, I imagine it all goes back to way back when people didn't sleeve their cards. Those filthy animals. I was one of them. You know, we played. My first few games we played on the street, on the asphalt, so we didn't realize how valuable these things would eventually be.
Yeah,
We
people.
also had no idea
Yeah, well,
how
and
to
it's
play.
funny, yeah, how sleeving decks has become a thing. Although I still have to laugh if someone triple sleeves a Commander deck, how huge they are. Isn't it Jade had that really beautiful like triple sleeve?
Our expensive decks are triple sleeved. It's ridiculous.
So Scott and his wife have triple sleeved ones because we found these awesome sleeves, inside sleeves in Japan that have this, and I think they have them kind of around here, but they had some amazingly beautiful ones in Japan that had like filigree around the edge. And so, but they were still a clear sleeve and a perfect sleeve. And so you put the perfect sleeve on there with the beautiful filigree on it, and then you sleeve those in cool sleeves. And so put the filigree on the front of the card and then the cool whatever you pick for the back of your card. So Scott and Jade have monstrous Commander decks, monstrously tall Commander decks.
Some of the inner sleeves are. I'm just waiting for like a combination lock in plastic, because I'm sure you guys have seen, like, now they have the ones that they fold in themselves, and it's like when people hand me unsleeved cards to sign, I mean, I usually hand them back and make them undo it, but every once in a while I'll just be like, oh, and I'll start taking it apart and I'm like, okay, well, there's one sleeve, there's two sleeves, there's, how do I even open this sleeve? And oh, this one's heat sealed somehow, and this is actually just encased in plastic inside all the sleeves. How, what?
Yeah, that's why I'm
How
a
does that-
heartless wench and hand them back if people hand them to me in their sleeve. And I joke with people that if handed to me in a sleeve, I will take them out with my teeth and not nice.
Story about the guy that laminated his cards.
Oh yeah?
Somebody was trying to sell laminate. There's some good cards, and everybody's like, these are a tragic waste.
So it's kind of along the same lines, but we'll keep asking this because I know you've been thinking about it over a couple days. If you were to draw a Marvel character for Universes Beyond set, which superhero would you want to draw? I know your request, actually. You requested one. You didn't get it.
Have they announced that? Or are we now in trouble?
I said you requested it. They know.
No, I mean,
Never mind. Steve, if you were to do for Universes Beyond,
I think I would like to do Doctor Strange. If it was,
Your
if it was
first
Marvel
love?
Universe Beyond. Doctor Strange and friends, you know, like Chloe, some of the bad guys. Some of them fit in so well that it would be hard to tell they were Marvel, like Mephisto and Doctor Strange lines up pretty well with magic already. And so that would be fun. I'd like to do a Doctor Strange, X-Men certainly, and those would be my favorites. Be kind of cool to do like a Spider-Gwen. Or any Spider-Man, really. If I were to do Avengers, it would be fun to do. I think Iron Man would be fun to draw.
Okay, don't scare me like that, Steve. They've already announced Magic the Gathering Marvel collaboration begins.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
It was announced last year.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah,
well,
that's what I thought I remembered.
I haven't been keeping up.
Don't scare me like that.
I'm not always sure what I know about versus what everyone knows about.
Yeah,
'Cause the
and I
timing's
was
weird,
sure
too.
I'd seen it because we were at an event when they announced it. So that's why. Don't scare me like that.
Okay, sorry. You scared me first because I was like, don't.
Yeah, it was September.
Okay.
So, but yes, Spider-Gwen would be cool. I love Spider-Gwen. Should I go put on my Spider-Gwen jacket to get ready for this? Oh, yeah. All right, Spider-Gwen jacket it is. Can go get it. Not that anyone on the camera ever sees me.
So Steve, which Spider-Man costume?
I'm either old school, kind of original green and red, or the symbiote costume, the black and white.
All right, here. If you flip to the front camera.
But like that's because I'm old school. I read I was already into Spider-Man when Todd McFarlane started doing the Amazing Spider-Man that he started. Yeah, for me it's the classic Spider-Man from Spidey and Friends and the original comics. It's also because Stan Lee was the narrator of those things, so
Yep.
as far as I'm concerned, that's the most official.
Justin asks, what's scarier, an accidental spoiler, Disney or WotC? Disney. You don't screw with the mouse, my friend.
Just makes me laugh at Mark Ruffalo.
He did that a few times, didn't he? Like, accidentally spoiled something?
I don't know. I think they hammed it up as a joke too, but they said that the very worst is Spider-Man.
Tom Holland?
Tom Holland.
Yeah.
I think they hammed it up as a joke, but they joke that they won't give Tom Holland full scripts because he spoils things. It's very cute. Yeah, Jason Smalls just wrote that in the Facebook chat. Yes, I try to be very careful about my NDAs with being Steve's manager.
You get used to them. Like, at first it's really hard to not tell people stuff because you're excited. And
And then you're like afraid to tell people about anything. And it's like, oh wait, no, it came out 3 years ago. I feel like I still can't tell anyone.
Yeah. Well, and stuff gets longer and longer too. So when I first started and I was doing L5R, for one, they really weren't too big on spoilers. In fact, they told me when I went to my first L5R tournament, they're like, so we don't want you to like spoil stuff online or whatever, but it's kind of a treat for people who go to these events that we're okay with and encourage even to like bring prints of art that isn't out yet.
It's about to spoil.
And when I started doing Magic events, I asked the art director, I'm like, hey, so for L5R, they did this and like people really liked it and stuff like that. Is that a thing that you guys do? And they're like, no, absolutely not. Do not ever. Like, we would all lose our jobs.
All right, Steve, okay, you gotta start tightening this up.
Okay.
Because you already used the first 35 minutes. We're actually over your original.
I'm so slow.
I actually think what I'm gonna do, Steve, is I'm actually gonna start, you'll have 5 minutes. We're gonna make the auction.
5 minutes?
So it looks like this is a Lily and Chandra swimming in an ever-flowing chalice hot tub.
With bubbles.
With hot tub, bubbles.
It's a bubbly.
So I'm about to put this sketch that Steve is working on here up as soon as I can get it up on the page. We will sell it. Oh my gosh, the controls for this drive me insane. Okay. Someone said that they'd love to see your artwork in the new Constantine 2 that's coming out.
Oh.
I'm excited about that. I hope it's gonna be good.
Me too. Good call.
One of the things I really like about Keanu Reeves is that he has done a lot of movies that probably were not something the studios would have done if he didn't kind of sign on and endorse them. Because he's been in a lot of bad movies, but a lot of them are like, I don't want to say experimental, but they're genres that are not proven.
Well, now
Which-
they are
which
because he
the-
made them.
Yeah, because studio executives tend to just want a formula, right? You don't go, hey, I have this amazing idea and it's brand new and it's going to be awesome because it's novel and it's challenging expectations and it's all the things that people like, right? They don't really like repetition. They like things to be new and different.
Hey,
but,
Steve, what's our starting price on this?
$90.
Okay.
Because it's the proof and then standard sketch. But yeah, studio execs usually are like, well, tell us what it compares to. Like, what we want is Toy Story meets the Avengers. It's like, oh, okay, well, I mean, that we want to do something new and different. And they're like, yeah, well, we can't assume how much money we're going to make if it's new and different. So do the same thing that's tried and true, not really realizing that when you do the same thing, people are bored of it. I mean, Toy Story meets the Avengers would probably be good. Muppet Avengers would be
All
great.
right, Steve. I called it Planeswalker Overflowing Hot Tub Time Machine.
I like it.
So we just put up the auction for over on What's Not. If you want to be part of that auction, you got to come over to What's Not. What Not? I keep adding an S. I'm sorry. come over to Whatnot. We are doing an auction for the piece Steve is drawing on right now, and it's a 5-minute auction. And so, Steve, someone is asking who is on your Mount Rushmore of artists. Does that mean ones that pillaged and took advantage of everybody, or just your favorite? Sorry,
Artists
I'm being
who ruined a mountain.
ruined a mountain. I don't know.
Which is the one, and whose face fell down?
I mean, they haven't. We talked about that a little bit yesterday, and my answers haven't changed too much.
Well, but yesterday it was active artists. You did start throwing out
that's
some
true.
more.
If we're
other
going
ones.
back in time, or it could be any artist.
Well, who do you think should be president of the artist world? I guess maybe that's the best way to put it.
One of my favorite artists of all time is William Bouguereau. He's absolutely amazing. J.C. Lanedecker is great.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of the best. Alphonse Mucha. There were really just a lot of great artists in the late 1800s, early 1900s.
It's true.
You know, I do like a lot of the old master classics, Botticelli, Caravaggio. Vermeer. I don't particularly like the modern artists or contemporary artists all that much. Some of them.
You mean fine artists?
Right. Well, I mean like those movements, not like
Okay.
contemporary, meaning people who are working today, but like the modern art movement is like Warhol, Picasso, Jackson Pollock, stuff like that. They're just not really my thing. I feel like they're a little overrated. I really like Rodin's girlfriend.
Oh, she was amazing.
Yeah.
I need to find her name.
So Rodin, one of the things that is
Rodin.
One of the things that is a little bit sad when you learn some of the history is some of these famous artists were just bastards. They were not good people. I mean, a lot of them were too, but
Camille Claudel.
yes. So Rodin had a girlfriend that was so much better than him. And he basically just kind of kept her down and hidden and kind of took credit for all of her work and stuff like that.
Yeah, she's amazing, but she end up going kind of crazy?
I think so. It's hard to get them. They get mixed up with how many famous artists drove women crazy. I think Picasso had a teenage mistress in his 80s, almost 80s. I think he lived to be 82.
And then 3 wives? She wasn't a teenager, she was in her 20s, but
Was she?
it was
Still a bit of an age gap. And while I don't want to, put any poo-poo on anyone who likes anyone, they're all adults and all that.
Well, but that's the
still
problem, is
kind
they
of
need to be consenting adults and not groomed children.
Yeah.
Frank Frazetta, someone put in here. Yes, that is definitely one of Steve's art heroes, Frazetta.
He's pretty good. He did a lot of really, like, Frank Frazetta, he's interesting because he's kind of the granddaddy of fantasy art, and he didn't really like fantasy art. a lot of his style came about because he just wanted to like get the job finished. So he continued to like
Isolix
streamline.
1, by the way.
Awesome.
All right, finish that up, Steve. And then maybe painting?
Yep. Is there anybody in the stream who has one of the pre-order
I
paintings?
think Justin asked if his pre-order. Did Justin have a pre-order?
He did.
Asked early on.
Yes. All right. We will do that one then.
Yeah. For future Rejectocon,
Uh-huh.
we should get a hard line to that laptop.
Yeah.
In future
Set up.
Rejectocon, maybe we'll be in our new house and have fiber. A girl can hope.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it won't. We'll probably do it hopefully before then.
Yes, before we have our new house.
I mean, I hope we get a new house fast, but it's
It
probably
won't
going to
be
be
that fast.
It's probably not going to be.
Within a year?
Yeah.
No. Agree.
We're building a house.
Yes, we're going to build a house. Steve designed it, and we'll see if we can afford what he designed. Yeah.
It may be a little bit extravagant.
Steve, only one of us
Big.
has a real job.
Well, you can be my sugar mama, right?
I already am your sugar mama. Yeah, sorry. This is something Steve and I joke about, is that I'm the only one with a real job, and yet he still makes more of the money than I do every year.
And it just confounds the banks, right? we bought the property that we're building the house on a few years ago, and like
Abracadabra says you got to do more whatnot streams to pay for the house.
Yep.
By the way, Steve, you asked where you wanted the money from Rejectocon to go. Someone asked, does it have secret doors and passageways?
Yes, it does.
Of course.
It has those cool. It has like bookshelves that are not bookshelves.
Yep. And it goes into the library, so it looks like we just have this small array of books, but then you open the bookshelves and it goes into the full library.
Yeah.
Someone stole all those art books.
I do have a lot of art books.
Yeah, are we gonna have, so right now me and Steve have our libraries kind of divided, and it's mostly just because we don't have enough shelves. But I wonder if that's how our library is gonna be. It's gonna be the Steve library and the cat library.
Might be. Although my studio's fairly big in this new place, so I could probably keep all my art books there at least.
Do you have a jar like the one to replace the compromise, is what Justin asked. So to give people some background, Steve had a car. Well, you can tell the story of why it's named the Compromise first, Steve. Why it was named the Compromise.
So the first decent car that I bought for myself was a 1994 Dodge Ram, a little short bed pickup. And it was a lot of fun. It was great. I liked it a lot. At the time, I was in some like outdoor groups, like Utah Caving Society and stuff like that. So having something that was good off-road made a lot of sense, and it was fun. And turns out I wasn't making enough money to actually keep that. So I traded it in for a 1995 Chevy Lumina, and I named it the Compromise.
Because that's what it was.
The pickup was named the Balrog. And this is before the Lord of the Rings movies, so
Nerd.
yeah, old school nerd. So the Compromise, I drove for almost 2 decades. And it was not a great car, but it was an absolutely reliable car. Like, it just would not die. I didn't really treat it particularly well. It just worked. And Kat had an RX-8, Mazda RX-8.
Exie,
Which
she's
was-
so cute. I love her.
Fancy and fast and sporty and not good in Utah winters.
Have a Winkle rotary engine.
Yep. Good old Wankel rotary engine. So,
Just fun to say.
yeah.
Again, nerds. It's a car nerd thing. Love rotary engine.
So in the wintertime, Kat had to take the Compromise to work. She hated it with a passion. It's just very utilitarian kind of vehicle. It does,
Hey.
it gets you from here to there, and that's it.
I didn't start it, Steve. It hated me.
There were a couple of times where its doors froze shut on Kat, and she was stranded for a bit. Or it locked and wouldn't unlock.
Yeah,
Stuff
its
like
locks,
that.
its auto locks, electric locks were going, and so sometimes it wouldn't unlock.
So you should have named it Christine.
No, the Compromise was still an appropriate name because it was my winter compromise to driving the RX-8. Its name held true throughout its life. So now you can go into why the Compromise Fund.
So Kat was like, you need another car. You need to get rid of this car. I can't buy a new car because it's not my turn. Right? Her car was purchased when we were married, and I had the Compromise long before we even met. So we decided that to be, sensible and frugal about it, we're like, this car is not going to last that long. Let's just go ahead and we'll kind of run it out. It's paid for. What we'll do is we'll basically make a car payment every month into an account, and then when the Compromise dies, we will have that as either a down payment or, if it's long enough, we'll have enough for a real car. Just, and it wouldn't die. It just kept going. It just kept going. And
I think it ran on spite. It hated me.
it may have ran on spite, yeah. So in 2007, as winter approached, Kat was very much lamenting having to use the Compromise.
2017.
Oh, is that? Yeah, 2017. Did I say 7? Sorry. And so I tried to be sneaky about it, but it's hard to be sneaky buying a car. So I pre-ordered a Tesla X. And
Her name is Nika,
Her name
and
is
she
Nika.
is delightful.
she is a great car.
And we really did manage to buy like the best year of the Model X before they started cheaping out on it and everything.
Yeah,
She's so nice. I love her still.
2017 was an interesting year for Tesla. It was kind of the last year that they weren't skimping out on anything. So
Suri is asking if we get the charging bonus. We get free charging for life.
Yeah,
I don't have to pay to charge at a supercharger for Tesla.
Yep.
It's amazing. That's part of the reason the 2017 was the best year to buy.
yeah, it's also when they still had like everything built in and integrated well, and it wasn't like they just kind of had a
Glued an
iPad stuck
to your
to the dashboard.
Yeah, it's like nicely integrated with wood. It's so beautiful.
I mean, there are things that also happened in 2007 that we're still kind of grumpy about, which is 2017. So 2017 is when they were like, we have self-driving, it's a done deal, it's going to be out in October, you can just basically sit back and go to sleep. We just working with the government on making that legal. And I imagine you guys know that didn't happen. He says it every quarter. Elon
Since
Musk, he's
2017.
like, oh yeah, no, it's done. It's going to be out this quarter. I'm like, yeah, every time your stock starts to dip or it's earnings report time, you tell us it's done. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me every quarter for 7 years. Yeah. But that being said, it's a great car. No regrets really. So that's well. So anyway, we never did actually. We used the fund that we had made, and it had been long enough that we basically just bought it.
Compromise lasted so long that it wasn't a down payment. It
Yeah.
was almost the full car amount.
Yeah. Which is awesome.
MTG Artist Proofs is saying, "Woo, I'm at a supercharger right now." So there was other questions in here. How many signatures do you guys usually get done in a weekend at a con?
A lot. Too many to count. I have timed it before. I can do 12 signatures a minute, which doesn't sound like a lot. But that's usually, shadow signatures. That includes the time to ask people what they want, stuff like
Wait
that.
for them to unsleeve the triple sleeved and padlocked.
Usually we get that done in advance.
I get that done in advance. Steve's
So-
too nice. He doesn't ask. He doesn't make them do that though.
So if you did some math, you could figure out how many I could potentially do. We interrupt signatures a lot though, either to do alters and art, or just to chat, or to sell stuff.
So someone said, Steve, if we collect artist proofs, what do you collect? And I think the background behind Steve shows.
Yeah, we collect art,
It's art too, just not artist proofs.
oil paintings. I have some artist proofs. I have some great artist proofs.
We
I
do have some amazing artist proofs,
Rebecca
too.
Gay sketched artist proof. I have a Carla Ortiz sketched artist proof, painted artist proof actually, from Carla. We have an RK Post. I have a lot of fan artist proofs actually, where
Friends and
one
fans.
of our friends or fans did an artist proof sketch for me.
They're all in my office. We have our mini art wall is in my office for like smaller pieces of art. Art books.
And I used to collect art books. I guess I still do a little bit, but it's fewer and further between, but fancier books. So I used to basically buy everything that the company was called Bud Plant. They did art books, and they're not around anymore, unfortunately. Books are hard to sell. Flesk does art books now, and they're great, but there are not a lot of them, right? Just art books.
The
aren't a
most
big thing
recent one
anymore.
you got was the Muka Lapater. I got that for Steve for our anniversary. It's a beautiful book. That's
Yeah.
an amazingly gorgeous book.
And then we got one before that, a couple of months before that, was J.C. Lane Decker. He's amazing.
By the way, Surya did the pure math of 12 signatures a minute for 8 hours is 5,760 signatures.
Well, all right. That's pretty great. We
Justin
don't
said
do
he
that
just
many
got the
because we
Seb
don't make that much
McKinnon
money.
art book
Huh?
on Kickstarter. Sorry, Justin said he just did the Seb McKinnon Kickstarter art book.
Oh, I haven't seen that. When we're at conventions, if I can get away, I'll usually go and pick up artist sketchbooks, particularly at like San Diego Comic-Con. That's a thing that is relatively big.
We have a lot of those. Surya is asking if you have any Klug altars.
I don't have a Klug. I would like to. I've seen a lot of them in person because Brandon Sanderson buys a lot of them. He's a huge Klug fan.
The biggest honor, he was doing one of his live streams and he was going over his favorite altars and he put up a Klug altar and was like, oh, this is one of my favorite altars. Here's another one of my favorite altars, and puts up Steve's. And then he's like, and
Puts up
then
cats.
here's another one of my favorites from my friend. And he put up an altar I gave him for his birthday. I was just floored that he put me in the same category as Clug and Steve. That was quite an honor.
But yeah, someday I'll have a Clug. He's great. He's awesome.
Damn, I should have thought of that for your birthday.
They're really impressive in person. He has such incredible detail that it's like you have to look close to see which parts are paint. He also uses like really fine acrylic paints. I'm not sure what, but yeah, my stuff tends to have raised brush strokes. You can see. And his stuff is just smooth as can be.
Someone's asking, and I personally don't, but sometimes you know more art and comic books than I do. Jeremiah Stewart is asking, if you could, would you ever do a cover of Dawn by Joseph Michael Linsner?
I'm familiar with the character. I've never actually read any of it, so I don't know the series, but yeah, why not? I've done some alters of Dawn.
Oh, very cool. That's kind of a fun thing about the alters is we like get to see different pop culture that we didn't know about, and it kind of keeps us up to date on some pop culture.
I really do. Like everything I know about anime comes from alters that I've done, where people are like, "Here," or they'll name a character and they're like, "Draw this," and I'm like,
Okay.
Was that a name or did you sneeze? And they'll be like, "Oh yeah, from this anime," and I'm like, "Okay, do you have pictures?" And
I have to get pictures.
yeah,
That's part of my job at cons.
anime is too much for me to keep up on.
Yep.
And I was a little traumatized with the early anime because the first anime I ever saw was Fist of the North Star. So for you anime people who know what that is, it's like that was this is what anime is, and I'm like, huh, okay, and this is like super popular. So okay, I guess to each his own. This seems a little bit much. Maybe not my thing.
Yep. Justin said, I wanted to get alters from you of Chandra and Lily into Ruby Gloom and Misery for Ages. And actually, well, it's not totally a thing. There have been some where it's like, I got a lot of alter requests for this anime. We should go watch it.
Yeah. I didn't quite finish the story of like, that was my intro and I wasn't that interested. But then so many people are like, this is my favorite thing. I love it so much. And we were kind of like, maybe we should watch this and see if it's any good. And sure enough.
The Fist of the North Star artist did a magic card for Neon Kamigawa.
Really? Oh.
This is what the Emery said.
I had no idea.
One of the alternate arts for Kaito. What is your favorite anime, Steve? You gonna go classic? You gonna tell the story about your trauma with anime? You saw anime at a younger age and were traumatized because of. That's a funny story if you want to tell it.
From a whole other thing. I guess it doesn't really make our stream not safe for work to talk about not safe for work stuff. So the other bit of anime that I saw in high school as a young man was we had a movie rental place called Movie Buffs, and it was just a local DVD rental place, and there was change of ownership.
And so this was this was before anime was really that big in the US and people really understood it. If you got it in the US, it was copies of a copy that was like fan dubbed or fan subbed sort of stuff.
And a friend of mine worked there, and there's this change of ownership where the manager and everybody went, but he stayed, and a big shipment of new DVDs came in, and a whole bunch of them were anime, right? And the new manager didn't know what they were. They were just like, oh, we'll just put these in with the
cartoons. Put them in the kids section.
Yeah, put them in with the cartoons. And my friend was like, so anime is, it's Japanese cartoons for more
All
for
ages.
grown-ups.
Yeah.
So we probably don't want to put these in the kids section. At least we might want to like split up the sections. There might be ones for kids, but you know, it's a different thing over there. And so they didn't have ratings or anything. So the new manager was like, okay, well, just take the box, take them home and watch them, and
rate them,
and decide where they should be. And so he was like, hey, Steve, we got all these anime things to watch, and my job is to watch them. You want to make a weekend of it? So we fire them up, and it became rapidly apparent that these were not necessarily stuff that the manager who ordered them was intending to share with to rent, because they were all hentai. They were all like we started one, and it's like, huh, well, okay, there's big monsters, okay, looks energetic, maybe it's like a you know, so far it hasn't gotten violent or anything, it's just a lot of things smashing buildings. Then we realized that the thing smashing buildings was not smashing them with arms or legs. It was smashing them with a giant monster dong. And we're like, wait, that was a tail, right? Was that a tail? That wasn't a tail. And subsequently, you know, just kind of kept going. And we got like halfway through one of them, and we're just like, this is really weird and uncomfortable, and I don't know what we did. Maybe I don't want to watch these. At very least, not with other people. This is weird. So
that was Steve's first foray into anime.
Well, I saw the Fist of the North Star before that.
Oh, did you? Okay.
That was same friend, and that was how he knew that they weren't for kids.
Okay, so coming back now that you had time to relive past trauma, do you have a favorite anime?
Trigun is what comes to mind.
Classic Trigun. Did you know that they're doing a new Trigun, a reboot or kind of I want to see it, but
I saw that.
Trigun's my fave too.
Can't go wrong with Cowboy Bebop.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I guess we can actually grab that and show that to people and see if they want to buy it.
What?
I'll remind you. You have 5 minutes to think about it.
Poster?
No.
I don't know what she's talking about. So this will be a surprise to all of us. Especially if it's something to sell. For the most part, though, I haven't really haven't seen a ton of anime. I haven't seen a ton of a lot of things. Like, I just don't watch a lot of shows. I want to.
Steve, do you know what I'm talking about?
Still no.
Really?
Oh, yes, I do. Okay. The Ghost in the Shell. Yeah, that's a
First gig.
that's a great one.
So Steve and I do studies art studies of things.
Yeah, so it can.
And this is an art study.
We need a Mountain Dew can.
Oh,
In fact, we need two. One cold and one I don't care.
okay. Sorry, I've been slacking. We do need a Mountain Dew can for. Okay, getting the Mountain Dew cans. There we go. Yeah, cut to it. So, Steve and I do art studies. We have a cute little action figure. And this was
Of
our
a Tachikoma?
our Tachikoma painting. So let us know, anyone, if you're interested in us putting this cute little Tachikoma study up for sale. I think it's adorable. Cadaver is asking what your favorite Pokemon is, if any.
So,
Just
my confession is
Yeah.
I've never seen or played any Pokemon anything. It was just out of my age range where when it came out, I was a little too old and too cool for it, but I wasn't old and cool enough to be like, I don't care if it's for younger people. If it's fun, I want it.
cool. Yep.
So I just never really got into it. It's another thing where I've drawn a lot of alters and done a
Just
lot of
based
sketches.
off that, again, we get exposed to a lot of pop culture just because of alters and such. Do you have a favorite? You know Pokemon names. You know them actually quite well. Do you have one based off of your alters?
I only know a few and don't know anything about what they do or their personalities or anything.
Yeah, just visually.
Charizard is fiery. I like doing fire stuff. I'm afraid they'll be like, I kind of like drawing this character, and then everybody will be like, that's the worst.
Okay.
Only Hitler likes that character.
I have to say, Jinx, you said Charizard right as Asteroxo posted. It's probably Charizard. He's been doing that this whole weekend. Asteroxo, he's been fact checking us and helping kind of in the background to help us remind us of things. But he's been saying stuff at the exact same time as us. It makes me
He knows
laugh.
us so well.
Steve, if we put the Tachikoma, do you want to sell the Tachikoma
I
study?
don't know. That one is one of my favorites, actually. It turned out really nice.
It turned out great. It's super cute.
I probably should start selling them because I have a closet full of oil painting studies that is filling up.
To call it out, there's this cool thing that they do twice a year. Actually, Steve is using their stuff right now. There is a awesome company that makes palettes and setups for artists, and it's called
Strata.
Strata. So the Strata company every year does what they call the Strata Challenge, where they challenge artists to paint from life. It can't be from a photo. Paint from life every day for a month. They do it in September and January. And so we don't do it all the time, but occasionally Steve and I will participate in the Strata Challenge. And so that's where that Tachikoma study came from, it's one of our Strata challenges. Steve, I think I'm going to put your Tachikoma up for sale. We'll see if it goes. You want me to put your Tachikoma up for sale? It's pretty hard to get a little Steve original, anything bigger than a card size oil painting from you.
It's true. Just don't tell me.
You don't want to say how much you want me to set it for?
You guys want to know what's going.
Justin is suggesting $1, Steve. So you need to counter that bid.
$2.
I didn't say Justin could decide. I said I don't want to know. $1. Although that is the thing, like, I guess Whatnot is known for is $1 auctions, which I imagine is just to.
Yeah. Justin did say that he has faith that it will go higher.
$1.01.
All right, I'm gonna add a quick product. What do I add this under? It's not trading card games. Oh, comics and manga.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Is Tachikoma with a K or a C? It's with a K, right?
CH.
Well, no, so Tachikoma with a K is, I believe.
Yeah, I think it's a K.
Steve did give me permission to go throughout the house and find the one-offs to sell. Because that's the cool thing about doing Rejectocon at home is we can, again, sell these one-offs.
She knew where to find this one because it's on display, or was.
I was already eyeing it when you told me to go through the house.
So it is a one that that I like enough that it is on display.
It's in his, actually it's in his studio on display. I stole it off the wall. All right, I'm gonna start it at that price. It's a little low, but as Justin said, it'll go higher.
If it sells for $1, so help me.
No, I am not going to do it for $1. That is rude. All right, we'll put it up. Unless you want to change your opinion here. Do you want to set a price for it, Steve?
I don't know, you're the only one with a job, so I better make my myself useful.
All right. I'm starting the auction. I'm selling one of Steve's beloved pieces of art. Again, you can see in Mountain Dews how tall it is.
It's 6 by 9 or 6 by 8 ish. It is on
a panel.
I think that one's on a primed
it felt
clay
like
board.
A masonite. I think it was masonite.
Well, it's masonite, but it's how it's primed, which is
clay board.
Yeah, primed clay board.
So primed clay board.
For folks who are at all interested in
and
panels.
I promise I'll get it signed. Steve didn't sign his studies. It makes sense.
So clayboard is awful to oil paint on. It just sucks the stuff right up. But it's super, super smooth. So if you give it a little bit of primer, you get the best of both worlds.
I also am going to remind people who are on Facebook and who are on YouTube and Instagram, if you want to bid on this auction, you need to come over to Whatnot to do the bidding. So
Pretty
please,
fast, because probably got 4 minutes left.
Sorry, I should have given more people more warning. We have 3 minutes and 30 seconds left on this bid over on Whatnot. If you want to bid, come join over there. And that's where you can bid. We are bidding on the Tachikoma study on the top next to the Mountain Dew, because we do all of our stuff in Mountain Dew measurements, which I think is much better than football fields.
It'd be hard to measure that in a football field. It is 1/1000th of a football field.
Another thing that Astrodoxa was reminding me, if you guys are interested in other sales, we have buy it nows of metal prints. So we have some of our metal prints in the buy it now section. because those are con exclusives. They're actually drastically reduced even for con pricing, because to a con I have to get it to a con. Plus, these are the ones that we have on there are our discontinued ones. We won't be bringing, I'm not 100% sure on the Blood Braid Elf, but the other ones we will not be bringing those back as con pieces. So those ones are discontinued metal prints. They're con exclusive, our metal prints usually are. So check those out. All right, Justin's ahead. Justin just pulled ahead. We've got 2 minutes left. Keldrazi going back and forth. I love in the painting you're working on, Steve, you kind of show how to do the glow. It's fun. Yeah, something that Astrox was calling out. This is a custom, this is an original oil painting by Steve, which are harder and rarer to come by. It's a art study that he did probably 4 years ago.
Is it that long ago?
Yeah.
It has been a couple of years since we've done the Strata challenge, which is a shame.
Even though we don't allow it, time does march forward.
Yeah, it's weird because it both feels like a big commitment, and then when it's done, you're like, that wasn't very hard, and you have like 20-something paintings. Mm-hmm. A lot of ours we would do over 2 days. You don't have to finish a painting a day.
But you have to paint from life every day. So a lot of times what we do is we do the sketch and the basic like flats in one day, and then you do the fine work and everything of that. Quiet C is saying, yay, the company of Kat and Steve while playing in my own art cave. This remote con is kind of nice that way. We feel the same. I'm walking around my house. I have food over there, cold Mountain Dews that Steve can request 2 Mountain Dews from the fridge. Oh, we are at time. Keldrazi won it.
Congratulations.
Keldrazi won the Tachikoma study. Congrats. Justin's saying you should list any studies you're willing to part with over your last session. I should have. I was looking at them on the wall.
If you count portrait studies at Howard Lyons, there's too many. Like, I probably got 50-ish.
I don't know if I do the portrait studies as much because I don't think they mean as much to people.
Yeah.
There's a really interesting one that's very unique. Your flower pot one, where with the really rough style.
She's going to put up all the ones that I have on display in my office. That's what's going to happen.
Maybe.
All the ones that are my favorites.
And the Hello Kitty guitar?
You wouldn't dare.
You told me to get anything in the house I wanted to sell of yours.
Is that how I phrased it?
That's how I heard it. Upper screen is frozen. Upper screen,
maybe it'll come back. So the software that I'm using, I haven't gotten quite to troubleshoot. It wants to record all of the streams I'm doing locally at the same time. And so it keeps just filling up the hard drive and then halfway crashing.
Mojo is saying, I'd love to take one of those Howard Lyon portrait studies. Great artists collabing, I'm sure, would be a great gem. Just to give you, I guess, thank you for pointing it out. What we talk about Howard Lyon, it's not a collab. What it is Howard Lyon used to host portrait painting sessions in his studio weekly. and you show up, you pay some money, and he always got a model. You put some money into the model fund, and you can paint. And so that's what we're talking about, the Howard Lion Studios. There have been some other ones where they've painted the Planeswalker portraits that we talk about, where we have model cosplayers sit for portraits, which we do sell those ones. But what we're talking about is just portrait painting session, 3-hour portrait painting sessions in Howard's studio. But I actually love the idea of a Howard Lion collab, collaboration. That'd be amazing. Put it on the list. A cool thing. So, what was the name of their art retreat that they did just a couple weeks ago?
The illustration intensive, I think.
I think so. So they did the illustration intensive, and I saw a cool thing because they had 5 or 6 amazing artists there. And one of the fun things they did at that is each of the artists had to paint one of the other artists, but in a more silly way. So like Carly Milligan, who is one of my very favorite up-and-coming artists. She's amazing. I have probably way too many of her pieces, little originals of hers. They're amazing. She did one of Howard where he didn't he have a Cthulhu beard? It was so great. Oh, Mojo said, they know what they are, and not that it's a collab. Okay. But I do agree, Howard and Steve working on a painting together. Just to call out the cool one that was the Howard and, wasn't it Howard and Magali?
Oh, yeah.
Did a collab?
So, Magali doesn't paint traditionally. And Brandon Sanderson wanted to have her do one of his heralds from the Stormlight Archive. And, she doesn't paint traditionally, but that's fine. So he hired her, but he was like, I really want to have a collection of the heralds done in oil paint. And he's got one from Donato, he's got one from Howard, he's got one from Carla Ortiz, he's got, he's got a whole bunch. And so he conspired with Magali and Howard and said, what if Magali does digital painting and you guys can work together, and Howard basically executes it in oil. So he has a collaboration between Magali and Howard.
It's amazing.
And it's a big oil painting too.
Mm-hmm. It's so cool. Mojo says, and you have done stuff like this, though they're not, usually don't turn out. I'll just say it and we can talk more about it. They said, if you do want to do a collab idea, I've always dreamed of Steve and RK Post doing a playmat of Vader fighting Optimus Prime. Well, that does sound amazing. I think you would probably have a lot more not safe for work things in that image if that were to happen. There actually have been some very, very funny, we call them art war playmats out there with RK Post and Steve and other artists in it. They're usually quite not safe for work though, but hilarious. I love, RK makes them not safe for work.
So the surprising, RK is tamer than you would think. He's kind of tried not to move away from some of that reputation, but the artist who surprises me the most is Todd Lockwood.
Yes.
Every once in a while, somebody will talk him into drawing on a playmat.
One of those artist combined playmats.
Yeah, it's I think that's the only time he does it.
An art war playmat.
There's a whole bunch of artists who have started a little battle on a playmat, and Todd
just escalates.
Yeah, Todd turns it into nuclear war with just
They're
immediately.
hilarious, but I love some art war. You can't, I'm going to put it forward, you can't force an art war playmat. They have to happen naturally.
Yeah, because what happens is...
people be like, so I saw this thing and you guys should do it. And it doesn't work like that. They have to happen naturally.
Yeah, it's not.
Everything's frozen now.
Everything's frozen. Even my
On
bottom one?
Whatnot, everything is frozen now. On everything else, just your top camera is.
Okay, I think that was the problem
Oh wait,
again.
it came back.
It's weird. I have to have Whatnot open and with focus, or else it vanishes or it freezes.
Yep, it's
the
back,
weirdest
but
thing.
our top camera is still dead for everything.
Yeah, I tried
Probably
restarting.
filled up the
I s-
hard drive again.
Yeah, and it crashes when that happens, and yeah.
So Astrox
I
is
tried-
asking, what is the direction for the altar you're working on?
Oh, so this is Slimer and Dr. Venkman playing Battleship.
Okay. By the way, we're at 2:30. This first session stops in 30 minutes. Since you've been taking 30 minutes to do.
To do
Yeah,
a
well-
sketch.
Do you want to do another sketch on this one, or we'll just do it at the beginning of the next session? Either way, you should flip to something else, I think.
Okay. We can do a sketch. People seem to like that.
All right.
Unless you guys are getting tired of that. You're like, I already bought mine.
Surya
I'm
wrote,
done.
I want a sketch. So, it's the only response I've seen so far. I like flipping back and forth between pencil sketches and oil paintings. It's fun. All right, so what did you stick up there? Is it an ever-flowing chalice or
Yep.
a... Okay, not a Nev's disc.
I haven't brought any of those up.
Okay, so this is an ever-flowing chalice artist proof. Let's make some recommendations on what you guys want to see on this ever-flowing chalice artist proof. Steve will draw for, I'm still going to say 20 minutes just to give him the time pressure because it's so fun. But the last 5 minutes we will then, while he continues to tighten it up and work on it, we will then put it up for auction. But you guys can make recommendations, otherwise Steve's just going to go nuts. Reminder to people, the auction will be on Whatnot, so if you want to be part of that auction, you'll need to come over to Whatnot to bid. Someone on YouTube says, we shall allow him to go nuts. Oh, someone also said that in Whatnot. Justin did say Toy Story Marvel mashup, but actually, overwhelmingly, everyone is saying their favorite things are always artist choice. So, go nuts, Steve.
They are fun.
But you haven't done any really silly artist choice.
That's true. Is that what we should do? I mean, Alexander the Grump was
Yeah, he was.
kind
It's
of
true.
silly.
I'm just putting it forward. That, like, true artist choice, Steve. We know what it means.
Triple dog there.
Someone was saying on YouTube, fluffy dragons are a good thing too.
Adorable dragons are great. So should I switch? This was going to be like a Medusa.
A Medusa. We can have you do a silly one to start off the next. That's how we'll tease people. Is you'll do a silly one to start off the next stream that starts at 3 p.m. Mountain Time. There is an adorable dragon in the auction pool. if someone wants to put it up. But the Adorable Dragon is an oil painted one, so it starts at a minimum of 400. Let us know. Feel free to go through the auction pool and let us know if you'd like us to post any of those up. We do have those. People have been pre-bidding on your Liliana Samurai and your Hoodin Horns.
Oh, awesome.
If I'm going to put up the Liliana Samurai or the Hoodin Horns, we have to fix the camera.
Yeah. I think I can probably do that. I will have, like, everything will be dead for a second because I have to actually restart the...
All right, get ready for dead for a second, guys.
I have to restart the whole streaming software.
Yep.
So, stay tuned. I think in Whatnot I can pause it. I think in everything else it's just going to die.
Yep. So just be ready. It'll go down and come back up. Sorry. And you might have to rejoin it, or it might just pick back up where it left off. We'll see.